This is Chris Liebing, and you are tuned into AM/FM. Hey everyone, and welcome to the show. This is AM/FM 351. My name is Chris Liebing. Thanks for tuning in. This week I have a little bit of a different show for you, so I hope you're not too disappointed if you were expecting the third hour of my Space Terrace set in Miami. Instead, I was thinking I'm going to dedicate this following hour to the release of my new album, Another Day on Mute Records. And I will play you the record in full, the whole album, and give you some commentary to each track. So you basically have the choice now to tune out and listen to the album without me talking on top of it, or you just continue to listen to this show and I'll present you some hopefully interesting background info to each individual track. The first one on this album is called Fault Line and has the lyrics and the vocal of Miles Cooper Seaton, who, as most of the vocalists, wrote this all during the pandemic and additionally during some heavy wildfires that were happening in the Los Angeles area. Los Angeles, as you all know, is sitting on a fault line, the San Andreas fault line, I believe it is. And I think Miles really put it all beautiful together. So here we go with the first track of my album, Fault Line with Miles Cooper Seaton.
Huddled around the fault line, a million wilted flowers, stare into the red horizon, thick with smoke. Orphaned by amnesia, 10 million wilted flowers, long to drink deep again. From deep, clear water. Drink deep again. But oh, what we have forgotten stays. Hunger in the shadows. Oh, what we have forgotten stays. Waiting in the shade. Waiting in the shade. Quaint the way we wait, cute the way we watch it all, sweet the way we wild, sweet the way we wild, quaint the way we wait, cute the way we watch it all, sweet the way we wild, sweet the way we wild. little fires seen from helicopters. A million little fires seen from on the hill. A million little fires seen from helicopters. A million little fires seen from on the hill.
Miles Cooper Seaton with Fault Line. Miles tragically passed away in the beginning of this year in a fatal car accident, and we all dearly miss him. But he left behind his incredible art, and I can only recommend you all to check him out, his performance on YouTube or on any other streaming platform for that matter. For those who may be curious if you ever get to hear the third, fourth, and fifth hour of my set that I played at the Terrace in Miami, obviously this is going to continue next week. But as a little extra info, I want to tell you that I'm bringing back the CLR podcast at least once a month, since CLR is back up and running, the label. I'm going to have a special podcast show once a month, obviously under the umbrella of my AM/FM show, but the first one will be hosted by Frankie Bromley very soon. Right, we keep going here with the second track of my album, Another Day, which features another fantastic vocalist, Maria Uzor from the band Sink Your Teeth, and this track is called Patterns.
She comes in the shade, creeping with the world she thinks she owns, resting on her brow. She beats with a heart of stone, approaches unannounced in the night. words are lost in the night. Like her.
This was Patterns featuring Maria Uzor from the band Sink Your Teeth. How awesome she sounds. How awesome the lyrics. And she also had the idea to put a little German in there. And yeah, I have to say I got very, very lucky with all the amazing vocalists that I got to work on this album. But not only that, I got to work again with one of the most talented producers in the electronic music world out there today, Ralf Hildenbeutel, who I also did the last album on Mute together with, called Burn Slow. And for those who like this little melodic breakdown in the middle, or the bass sound, that's all thanks to Ralf. Some might think that this melodic breakdown in the middle was an arpeggiator, but no, this is Ralf playing it live. He's such a gifted piano player. It's incredible. Been really lucky to work with such amazing talent on this album. Coming up is the first instrumental track of the album. I called it 10 West because I see myself driving down the Interstate 10 towards the Pacific Ocean. That's why hence it's called West. This 10 West ends in Santa Monica, and they're the most beautiful sunsets probably in the world, with the colors and everything. So just imagine yourself, you're sitting there driving down that interstate, getting into Venice Beach or Santa Monica. That is 10 West. You're listening to AM/FM with myself, Chris Liebing, in the mix. 10 West, which was actually the second track that was produced for this album. Ralph and I basically just made 10 instrumental tracks, and I chose 6 of them to put vocals on. 10 West stayed without vocals. Somehow reminds me a little on the, I'm not sure if anyone remembers that, there was a TV series called The Persuaders with Roger Moore and Tony Curtis. Kind of has a similar vibe to that theme score that this television series had. Anyways, let's head into the next track, which most of you might already know. It features Tom Adams, an absolutely super talented vocalist from England. And I met with him in February 2020 in Berlin. Played him some of the instrumentals. We chose 2 tracks. So there's one, Circles, which is coming up now, and another one towards the end of the album called Hollow Town. And both are rather beautiful works of art from Tom regarding his vocal performance and also his lyrics. Here we go, Circles featuring Tom Adams.
Sometimes I'm rising, sometimes I'm falling. I have been feeling so tired. So many years.
Circles featuring the amazing Tom Adams on vocal duties. And you're going to hear more of him later on in this album with the track Hollow Town. And what you're hearing in the background, this is basically Daniel Miller's modular setup. Daniel Miller came to the studio in December 2019 when all the instrumentals were done, and he felt like they're missing a little bit the edge. So he had his modular setup, set it up in the studio, and we went through all of the tracks and he added his flavor. For those who do not know Daniel Miller, he's the founder of the amazing Mute Records label, and also discovered and produced and released such amazing bands like Depeche Mode, Erasure, Yazoo, just to name a few. The Mute catalog is insanely amazing, and I'm pinching myself on a daily basis that I get to release on this awesome label. So we're gonna keep going here with well, we're halfway through this album, so what other track name could I have chosen for this next piece, which is called Something Halfway, for two reasons. It's halfway through the album, and it has rather a really nice break in the middle of the track. So this is, I think, I would say the most techno sounding track on this album. Been playing this quite a bit in my sets, the original album version that is, and I'm so happy about people actually recognizing it. So enjoy this one. It's also instrumental.
You are tuned into AM/FM.
something halfway. Some sort of old school vibe to it. Always loved rolling bass lines in techno. Never could get enough of them. So next up we have the title track of the album. Track number 6 is called Another Day, featuring the amazing Polly Scattergood on vocals, and she also wrote the lyrics. Already the second time that I was able to work with her. First time was on my first album for Mute called Burn Slow, released in 2018. And this time Polly had the idea to, basically explain to us how time is measured. How suitable for this album, how suitable as a title track. Here's Another Day featuring Polly Scattergood.
What is 1 second? 9, 1, 9, 2, 6, 3, 1, 7, 7, 0. Periods of the radiation corresponding to the transition between the two hyperfine levels of the ground state of the cesium 1, 3. Another day. Atom. Another day. Another day. Another day. The bridges do not tremble. There are flowers on the pavement. Starlings are living in the streetlights. I notice where the light falls. It dances on my skin as my eyes open to another day. Then another day. Then another day. 9, 1, 9, 2, 6, 3, 1, 7, 7, 0. Periods of the radiation corresponding to the transition between the two hyperfine levels of the ground state of the cesium 1, 3, 3 atom. The bridges do not tremble. There are flowers on the pavement. The starlings in the streetlights have eaten through the wires. The nighttime air is dense. It makes me want to touch you. Another day's dissolving. Another day. Then another day. Then another day. Then another day. Another day. The bridges do not tremble. The vines creep up the pavement. The starlings in the streetlights sing louder than the sirens. 9, 1, 9, 2, 6, 3, 1, 7, 7, 0.
Wow, what an incredible voice Polly has. Again, I pinch myself every day that I was able to work with such amazing talents. I recommend anyone to check out Polly's other albums that she's been doing over the past years. All amazing pieces of work. As obviously you should check out all the vocalists' individual work. They're all pretty awesome. We're getting into another instrumental track. This one, I have to say, was a little bit inspired by one of my favorite tracks ever by Massive Attack called Unfinished Sympathy. For those who are familiar with this track, you might recognize the drum pattern, because I can tell you here, I copied it 1-2-1. And Ralph had the idea to call this track Cause and Effect. And yeah, just check it out. Here we go, Cause and Effect.
You are tuned into AM FM.
Cause and Effect, featuring Ralph Hildenbeutel and myself. Well, no vocals, obviously. The next track is very, very heavily inspired by Peter Gabriel. For those who know me, know that I'm a big Peter Gabriel fan, especially of his early works. His album Melt I can recommend to anyone. And anything I basically do for Mute, for the Burn Slow album, or for this album, is kind of based upon the ideas of these early works by Peter Gabriel, especially the next track called Whispers and Wires, featuring Ladan, who used formerly known as Cold Specs. We used to work a lot together with Moby, and she provided the beautiful vocals and the lyrics for this let's say, rather Peter Gabrielish sounding piece of music. Whispers and Wires featuring Ladan. By the way, the bass line might remind some of you on an old 80s track from a German band called Grauzone, Eisbär. You can actually sing Eisbär on top of this track. I only found out later when I listened back and I was just like, that reminds me on something. And then I got it. Eisbär, Grauzone. Check it out. Well, I never said I reinvent the wheel when it comes to bass lines. We're heading into the next wonderful piece of art by Tom Adams with vocals and lyrics that he provided for this track called Hollow Town. And I do still believe he kind of foresaw in the beginning of 2020 when he wrote those lyrics how the pandemic will pan out for all of us, especially with a little phrase, we're hiding from a storm that can't be seen, but we can feel. Here's Hollow Town featuring Tom Adams.
Is there anybody out there in this hollow town? I walk down lonely streets, but there's no sound, there's nothing here, there's nothing here. And is there anybody out there in this empty place? There are ghosts on every corner, but they turn their face in this hollow town.
wow, and just wow when it comes to Tom's performance on this track once more. So, if you want to listen to this album without me talking, I hope you enjoyed a little bit my commentary. Then obviously the album is out everywhere. You can buy it on vinyl, on CD, and it's in all streaming platforms out there. So go and check it out and have listened to it from the beginning to the end. That is what it's meant for, to listen to, and how to listen to it. So the album has 10 tracks. We're getting towards the end of this album. And the last track is called Close Down, another instrumental. And Close Down is a little homage on another band that I'm a huge fan of, The Cure. They have a track called Close Down on one of the best albums ever made, Disintegration. So enjoy that one. And that's it for this week's AM/FM. This was show number 251. I know it was a little bit different than the usual AM/FM shows, but we get back into DJ sets next week, obviously. I still really hope you enjoyed this little excursion into the Another Day album with some background information. This was the track Close Down, and as you can hear, it's gonna close down in a really, really, really long reverb. And this is how we end today's show as well. So find the album, buy yourself a nice vinyl, and I'll hear you again next week when we're back with AM/FM 352, that is. I'm Chris Liebing, and I say bye-bye.